Yo, what's going on, YouTube, and welcome back to Goal Line Hockey. It's your boy Kevin Forte. Guys, we have made it through another series. We are officially done with the lineup predictions videos at the end of this one, as we are finishing things up, wrapping things up, rounding home on the Winnipeg Jets in the Western Conference as we continue our lineup prediction series video. So, if you're interested, make sure to check out the rest of these videos. But with that said, let's take a look at your Winnipeg Jets. So, heading up north of the board at the Jets, looking at their forward group, they didn't really make a ton of moves this summer. This team is fairly similar to what we saw last season. Again, this was one of those teams that they put more of a focus on defense this summer. That was Kevin Cheveldayoff's big upgrades. They actually, we'll get into it when we look at the defense. But looking at your forward group, Kyle Connor, Mark Scheifele, and Blake Wheeler, your captain. So no real changes there unless some crazy injury happens, which I hope doesn't happen. That's going to be your first line. So I really like those guys. Again, as long as they stay healthy, that's a very solid top line. They're back in that Central Division, so keep that in mind. Second line, Jansen Harkins, Pierre-Luc Dubois coming in, and Nikolai Ehlers. Now, if the key guy on this line, Jansen Harkins is, yes, definitely a name to keep an eye on. Again, there may be some competition for that left side winger spot, but also Pierre-Luc Dubois. He had a really tough season last year in Winnipeg. It seems like he's had a lot of mental growth in this past season with all the stuff that happened in the beginning of the season with Columbus and John Tortorella, some potential rumors about a not great relationship there, and his time in Columbus and the way it ended. It seems like Pierre-Luc Dubois has matured, has grown a lot since his time there. So very excited to see how he comes into this season. He seems like he's got a little bit of a burning passion, desire there. I'm really excited to see what he does. He's had time this summer to settle into Winnipeg a little bit, and this is his fresh start. So anything from last season, kind of throw out into the garbage can. That's what Dubois did. Let's see what he does this season. I'm really excited for Dubois, and I'm hoping for some really good things from this very talented power forward-esque center. And again, he talked a lot about not being able to go to the gym because of the pandemic, and being off of a routine really threw him off. He's one of those guys that got really affected last year. So again, that was the big guy I wanted to talk about because I'm really looking forward, in Winnipeg in particular. I'm definitely going to be keeping my eye on number 18. And actually, he may have changed his number, but he was 18. Bottom six for your Winnipeg Jets. There were a couple of changes. Guys like Mason Appleton, gone. Matthew Perreault, gone. So who are some of the guys filling out those roles? We're going to get to that. So you're looking at that third line. It looks pretty similar faces. You've got Andrew Kopp, Paul Stastny, and Adam Lowry. Now, some people have put Paul Stastny on that second line with Dubois on the wing. I think Dubois is a natural center. I think he's a very good center. Again, top 3 draft pick. He is going to be the second line center. And again, this is kind of that Oilers situation where you've got you got your McDavid. Okay, Scheifele's not McDavid. We all know that. Dubois as your Draisaitl-esque, and then Stastny, who is kind of the Ryan Nugent-Hopkins. Again, I'm not comparing apples to apples, but it's that kind of dynamic. I think they've got a really good top 3 center core, and I think this is a team that, again, in that Central Division, they may be that purple cow because of how good their center core is. I think that can separate them from, again, depending on how Dallas does, the Dallas Stars, definitely the Nashville Predators, unless there's a breakout season from Duchesne and Johansson. Even in St. Louis, who has a pretty good center core. I think they have a better center core than them. So I really like that top 3 group there for the Jets. And the fourth line gets a little bit, there's some questions. You've got Dominic Toninato, I believe a first or second round pick. Gustafson, haven't really heard much about him. And Riley Nash, who comes in from Columbus. So a couple of former Columbus Blue Jackets here, Dubois and Nash. So I do like that group there. You also have the potential of maybe seeing a guy like Christian Vesalainen and Cole Perfetti getting into the lineup. Again, Cole Perfetti was their draft pick this year, first round pick. But a lot of people, he's been turning heads in terms of a lot of scouts' eyes for maybe making the roster here for the Winnipeg Jets. But again, when you've got Dubois and Stastny in that middle six, I just don't really see a spot for him. And again, Lowry and Cap, again, those are guys that can play middle six. So it's really not a spot for him to develop. I don't think he's a fourth line player. And then Vesalainen, I don't know, man. I don't know. We've been waiting for him. We've been waiting for him to develop, and it just hasn't really happened. So we'll see. We'll see. Again, the depth has just gotten better, and I just don't. Perception-wise, Vesalainen, his value has definitely diminished a lot since he was drafted, which is a shame. So moving on a little bit of a brighter note, it's the defense. Kevin Cheveldayoff made a huge point this summer. The talk of the Jets for really the past couple seasons has been their defense. They haven't replaced some guys. I mean, you look at some guys they've lost. Jacob Trouba was traded. Dustin Byfuglien left. He just didn't go to training camp. Contract terminated. He left. Tyler Myers left in free agency to Vancouver. Definitely a different blue line this year in Winnipeg. You have Brendan Dillon and Neil Pionk. I think a lot of people, Pierre-Luc Dubois talked about in the 31 Thoughts, 32 Thoughts podcast the other day. He really liked Neil Pionk, a very good competitor, tough to play against, a fire hydrant. So I really liked Neil Pionk. I think I agree. I did see some of that from him. Even his time with the Rangers, I think he was a really talented defenseman. Just need a little bit more time to get some grooming. I think he is a top pairing defenseman in the future for the Jets. So very exciting to see that. Brendan Dillon coming over from Washington. 2 second-round picks, and you get perceptually a top pairing defenseman to play alongside Pionk. Wonderful, really good trade there. Again, you look at what the Islanders got for Devontae. It was 2 second-round picks, so it's a pretty good deal there for the Winnipeg Jets. Second pairing, you got Josh Morrissey and Nate Schmidt. I do like that. Again, Morrissey we've seen, but Nate Schmidt coming in, a guy from Vancouver. There were some questions. Maybe he didn't want to go to Winnipeg. I think that was kind of a ploy move there by Jim Benning, which, again, not the pretty side of the business, but that may have been on the table there to maybe get some, a better deal with the Jets. And then your third pairing, you got Logan Stanley and Dylan DeMello, which I think is going to be up for debate. I think they really like Logan Stanley. They protected him in expansion. But Dylan DeMello isn't guaranteed that spot on the right side because you look at some of their depth defensemen, it's pretty good. You have Nathan Boya, who's coming back. Sami Niku is on here, but he has just had his contract terminated by the Jets. So I think that relationship has officially come to an end. They're just kind of rolling out the divorce papers. So Sami Niku no longer there. And Ville Heinola, who I think is the most interesting name because he's a guy that I think can make the team out of camp. I really think that they see something in Ville Heinola. If not, I don't think they're going to put him as a seventh defenseman. I think they're just going to send him back to Manitoba to play with the Manitoba Moose. Top pairing defenseman, get those extra minutes in the AHL, and then come up. That could also be in the equation, but that's why I have him as a depth defenseman and not in that top six, at the very least on the opening night roster. And then in between the pipes, I guess perceptually you could see this as a downgrade, but I don't think that's really... It doesn't hurt them that much, at least from what we've seen going into the year. You're going to have Connor Hellebuyck coming back, Vezina finalist every year, probably going to win the Vezina either this year or next year. I'm very high on Hellebuyck, and he's going to have a better defense in front of him. And Eric Comray. Now, you may have been thinking, Jets fans, why does that name sound familiar? Oh yeah, he was here. I forgot about Eric Comray. Yeah, that's because they had Laurent Brossoit for a couple years, who came over from Edmonton and was a really good backup. Now he's in Vegas. Eric Comray is now back in the equation. He was the backup for the Jets for a while. Was supposed to be the starter. That didn't really turn out. But he became a third goaltender in Manitoba for a while, and now it's like, oh yeah, we forgot we have him. Oh yeah, he's our backup now that Brossoit is gone. So that may be a little bit of a tarnished relationship there, but that's what they're going back with. And Paul Maurice, again, there may be a little disconnect there between Comrie and Maurice, but that's what they seem to be going with. So with that said, the Jets in that Central Division, it's pretty wide open. I'd be optimistic if I'm a Jets fan. I love some of their defensive upgrades, probably the most defensive upgrades in the league, maybe other than Philadelphia, who, again, it comes down to perception. What do you think of the guys they added? Because, I mean, you look at the Flyers, they threw around first and second round picks for guys like Ryan Ellis, Rasmus Ristolainen. They've signed guys as well, guys like Keith Yandel. The question is, how do they fit? Because I think what the Jets can do with some of these guys like Dillon and Schmidt and DeMello, they're not necessarily the most skilled. But under Paul Maurice's defensive mind, can they get that done and be a successful defense? I think that's really what you're looking at for the Jets. But with that said, let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below. I think the bigger question for this team this year is, could we see guys like Christian Vesalainen and Cole Perfetti get into the lineup? And if so, where in the lineup? Let me know down below. Guys, as always, thank you so much for watching this video. If you like what we're doing here at Goal Line Hockey, want to see the latest news around the NHL, more videos just like this one, make sure to give this video a big thumbs up and an even bigger subscribe down below. Guys, make sure to check out our Streamlabs shop in the description as well as a way to support the channel and maybe pick up a new Goal Line Hockey coffee mug. So make sure to check that out. As always, guys, thank you so much for watching this video. I also want to give a shout out, guys. This is the end of our lineup prediction series videos. So if you want to see what your opening night roster could look like, maybe not the Winnipeg Jets, but someone else around the league, make sure to check out. We have all 32 of those now officially up at the end of this video. So thank you so much for watching. I will see you again soon.